This is the CIS Controls presentation on network monitoring and defense from the National Cybersecurity Center. Quick explanation of the controls and implementation groups. IG1 is your basic cyber hygiene. So each of the controls is broken up into safeguards. So here we have 11 safeguards. Those fall into groups 1, 2, and 3. You can think about it as 1 is your basics, then you move up to 2, then move up to 3. So you want to tackle 1 first before you move on. In addition, as you look at these IG groups, they are mapped to the NIST cybersecurity framework: identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. Quick definition here. Network monitoring defense: operate processes and tooling to establish and maintain comprehensive network monitoring and defense against security threats across the enterprise's network infrastructure and user base. Why is this important? Network defenses are never perfect, and humans pose the greatest risk. So something that is becoming more and more obvious as ransomware, malware specifically, become more and more popular as they have in the last couple of years, that criminal market is growing, is that even the best of us, even the most protected, largest enterprises with the biggest budgets, are vulnerable to cyber attacks. So even as new tools, new methods, new policies, procedures are implemented as network defense, they're never perfect. And that's just the nature of the back and forth between defense and attackers. In addition, human error is a big part of cybersecurity risk. You really can't minimize that human error risk to zero. And so having network monitoring and defense as somewhat of a fail-safe from human error can help alert you when things happen. And if a human does make an error, as in clicking on a malicious link, if you have a malicious domain blocker, some type of tool like that installed, then that reduces the impact from the error of clicking on the link. Looking at the implementation groups, so no IG1 here. These are all IG2 groups. Security event alerting, IDS, host-based IDS, network-based IDS, things that detect what's going on your network or on your host. Traffic filtering, these are all things that can be done with open source tools and paid tools as well. Managing access control for remote assets, and looking at traffic flow on your network. IG3, intrusion prevention for hosts and network. Port level access control, application layer filtering, tune security event learning threshold. So this all relates to what you're letting in, what you're letting, who you're letting talk to who, about what, setting the rules, the filtering rules within your network architecture to make sure that only the people who you want talking, or the devices you want talking to other devices through different methods, are doing so without, and that reduces your overall attack surface to the outside, to some type of criminal attacker. Key concepts is that you want to be able to detect, analyze, and mitigate any threats. And as you mature in this process of seeing what's going on your network, being able to point and say that's normal activity, that looks like malicious activity, we're going to block any traffic from that IP address, you start to develop threat intel capability within your organization. So knowing what typical tickets from or alerts from a network monitoring tool look like, you can better make that process more efficient to faster mitigate your risk.